Right. So let us see the activities of test planning, the initial stage of testing. Fine. The first test I'm speaking about. So let's take a real-time example. Okay. Let's go out of this theoretical description and talk in terms of practical for better understanding. Okay. If you want theoretical description, there are many uh, sites in the internet where you can go through and read them, but you need a practical understanding, right? So for example, you got a project, okay, or you got a client asking to test his project. So assume that his project is Facebook. There is something like Facebook, okay, some social communication site. So you got that project, so you are asked to perform the testing on it. Okay, so you will not right away jump into the opening application and start working on it. So first you have to define the scope of the project. So in the sense, so what is your website and how much time it required to complete the testing of this social communication project. Okay, so you have to just get a basic scope of that. That means how many modules are present in your project and what is the depth present in that modules. So roughly how many test scenarios we can assume from that project, and what are the challenges we have in that project, what we got for testing. Okay, you need to take all these factors and you have to sit with the business analysts. So in this ways, most of the cases business analysts will involve. Okay, they'll sit and try to define a scope of the project. So before committing to the client that we will do the work in a limited period of time, so they will analyze the scope and then they'll go back to client and say we need some particular XX amount of time to complete this project. So for that they will go through all the documents and regarding functional requirements, business requirements of the project, and they'll see what are different functionalities they have to verify and what kind of challenges we have in overcome that. Okay, so they'll have a rough look and basically they define a rough scope of the project here, and they'll get back to the client and inform about the possibilities and the way they do. Okay, just the basic scope they define. Fine. In next, in this phase only, they have to come up with one test approach. Test approach in the sense, I'll be talking in my next lectures about waterfall model and iterative model, and now the most popular agile model. Okay, these three are the main software testing approaches people use in the market in real time software. I mean, waterfall, agile, or iterative model. So what kind of approach you are taking to complete this project? Okay, so I'll just give you a brief overview now. What is waterfall, what is agile? More in that I'll be talking in my next sections. Fine. So waterfall model in the sense, first we will start testing only after complete development of the project. Okay, once the developer has completed the project development, and then we pick up for testing and we give our observations. That is waterfall model. Fine. Agile model in the sense, they develop a small component. For example, they develop just home page. That's all. There's nothing developed in the backend. We will test that home page. Okay. Parallelly, both testing and development will continues. We will not wait until complete development is completed and then we start our work. Fine, getting the difference? Just I'm telling you basic line difference between waterfall and agile. There are a lot to talk about that, which we will talk in those respective sections. Okay, so you have to come up with a test approach. You want to go with a waterfall model or you want to go with agile, okay, whatever it is, and you need to inform same thing to the client or whoever the project they are giving to us. Fine, we will also do that in this test planning stage. So in this stage, as I told in the earlier section, not everyone may be included in the stage, but a manager level or a business analyst will be definitely play a crucial role in this stage in defining the scope and metrics of their testing project. Fine. So assume that for the social communication website, we have gone with waterfall. Okay, we are asked them, let them complete the development and then we will start the test. So one kind of approach you need to decide. And next, defining test strategy. This is one of the most important part. So what kind of strategy you are implementing? That means if you are asking me to complete the project in 20 days, so how many resources you are using, so how many people you are putting on this project per day to complete the project in 20 days. Okay, if you are committed to 50 days, and you might go with only 2 resources. If you are committed to 20 days, you might go with some 5 resources. So basically you need to define strategy here. How many resources you are trying to implement and what is the process. Okay, you need to set up one process, like how many managers should be handling this project, and how many senior consultants should be there, and how many just normal software engineers. Okay, there are different designations, right? So for this project, how many managers should be there? However, there will be one manager for a project, one manager, one senior software engineer, and 3 engineers and 4 freshers. Okay, and you have to see the billing, how much you can give for all this, so that you will get some profit once this project is done. Okay, all this is a test strategy where you set up here. And also, and what kind of tools you use. Okay, if you use a manual testing, here we use manual testing, right? So where you write your test cases, there are a lot of tools available in the market, okay, to write test cases. You have to decide what tool I have to use to start and writing my test cases. Okay, and however, when at the execution time there will be bugs. Okay, so what bug tracking tool you are using? Okay, for this project, what is the tool you have to go with? So all these kind of strategies you have to define here. So how many people, resources, and what level of people has to be involved, and what tools you to use to start your project. So all you define here as a part of test strategy. Okay, and next, determine test resources. It's just like stands in the same line as the strategy of defining how many people. And here resources in the sense not only the humans, I mean not only the human intervention, but also how much hardware software part use. Okay, unit test environment, right, to work. So for example, assume that that site needs some high level of RAM to work on it. You have to set up hardware setup also. Okay, hardware environment you have to set up, what kind of softwares you use to make that work. Okay, how much RAM you need, system configuration setup. And they simply say that I want to make this application stable in Firefox, Chrome, Safari, IE, everything. Okay, so in one Windows you cannot, okay, you can do all the versions, but they might also ask that please test this project in IE9, IE10, IE11, 3 Internet Explorer browsers. So you have to, you cannot do in one machine, right? You will get either IE9 or IE10. So that time you have to have some virtual machines. So all this mission setup also you will determine as part of this test resources. Okay. So the last and final thing is defining exit criteria. And we'll see that in our next lecture. Cool. I hope you are clear with the first 4 concepts of this test planning activity. And let's see how can we define exit criteria.